Hey, what is going on, you gravel gobbling gabites? Today we're playing some games with Malamar VMAX. I've always been a huge fan of playing this card, and I finally came up with a build I think that works pretty solid in the current format. So of course, Malamar VMAX is our main attacker with the max jammer. It's got 310 HP, and that does 180 for dark colorless. We can look at our opponent's hand, and then we choose a card we find there and put it on the bottom of our opponent's deck, so they no longer have that card in their hand. So ideally, if your opponent has like energy, and a research after you Marnie them, you can take the research, put it on the bottom of the deck, and kind of lock them out of the game potentially. We don't always look to lock our opponent out of the game. Sometimes we just try and make our opponent's turn worse by taking something out of their hand, and now they don't have that thing to work with anymore on their next turn. But it's kind of tough to completely lock your opponent out of the game, but being a little bit disruptive, and then sometimes taking away a really important card or locking them out of a very important option, like if they have a Marnie and a boss in their hand and they really want they really want to use boss next turn, taking that away kind of forces them down the path of Marnie, and they don't get to play that boss on the next turn. So there's a lot of things you can do with the max jammer besides just hard locking your opponent out of the game. So our main attacker is the Malamar, but how do we set it up? So we use the Malamar V plus E-switch combo, so we can get extra energy into play per turn with the Direflame Wings. We E-switch it over to the Malamar V Max, and we can turn to Max Jammer pretty consistently. Now, the rest of the engine in the deck is Articuno V, Guru, and Rotom Phones to help us kind of draw the cards we need at the right times, without a better way to say it. Also, the synergy between Moltres and Articuno is very good. Because if we play a research and we draw into dark energy but don't draw into a quick ball, which is basically the only two ways we have to discard cards, we might not be able to Direflame Wings that turn. But because of the Articuno V with the Reconstitute ability, we can then discard that dark energy and then get it onto the Moltres with a Direflame Wing. So there's a ton of synergy between these two, and just consistently being able to pull off Direflame Wings turn to turn. And then when we're drawing that one card through the Reconstitute, we may as well go ahead and combo that with Rotom Phone and get potentially the best card the card we want out of the deck, or something pretty good to use on the turn as well. So the phone plus Reconstitute combo is sick. And then I also have a Guru in here because our bench space is really open. We don't need a ton in play. We usually have two Malamar/Malamar VMAX in play, a Moltres, and an Articuno. So that's only 4 of our bench spaces take it up. Sometimes we use Crobat, so that's 5, and then we really always have a floating space open for a Rangaroo, which becomes 6, or sometimes it's 5, and we just keep a bench space open for as long as possible. So Guru fits really well to just have him play. Use Primate Wisdom to help play around our opponent's Marnies. It does combo with Rotom Phone really well, especially when our opponent has a Path to the Peak in play. This might be our only way to kind of utilize a Rotom Phone or get out of a potentially dead hand. To talk a little bit about the rest of the list, because I'm sure some of you noticed there's 4 shopping center in here, and that's because it just came up to be the best stadium, or it feels like it's the best stadium for this deck. We also want to run 4 because we really need, and we would maybe even run more stadiums, or even consider adding the Pumpkaboo because of the Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak is really annoying for our deck when so much of our deck engine and energy acceleration is built around Moltres and Articuno. Really want access to those abilities as often as possible. So yeah, Shopping Center just ended up feeling like the best stadium card to put in the deck. So that's why there's Shopping Center there. If you guys were wondering, that's why there's Shopping Centers. We had Wyndham Stadiums in there initially. It didn't feel as good, so we tried out the Shopping Centers. The Shopping Centers being able to move around our air balloons has felt very, very good so far, so that's really nice. And I also do play 2 Rugged Helmet for a little bit of added disruption. Don't have like Crushing Hammers in here or anything because we want to be consistent about getting off the turn 2 Max Jammer. But when we're disrupting our opponent's hand with the Max Jammer and knowing that they'll be losing energy from the Rugged Helmet, we can really set up some really cool plays to combo with that. And then we play 1 Tool Scrapper in here because there's a lot of tools in the format, and namely Air Balloon is something we can remove from play and then try and trap something in the active. Because of that, we had Tool Jammers in here initially, but weird things were happening with the Tool Jammers where there wasn't really like a whole ton of value to get out of them, and the Rugged Helmets felt pretty good. So yeah, the list has felt pretty good so far. I know it looks a little bit weird, but let's get into some games, and I'll show you guys how it works. All right, we're getting into our first one. We are going to be going first and looking for at least Malamar V plus energy. And of course, we'd love a little bit more than that, but it looks like that's all we got in this opening hand. We'll see what our top deck is, but that's good enough to start here for sure. And then, yeah, we'll see what the next turn brings. But yeah, we'll get a not a mulligan draw, a top deck return at the very least to give us a little bit more to work with, and we'll see what that is. Ideally, it would be something like a capture energy. We do play 2 capture energy in here. I felt like it hasn't messed up the consistency of stuff too much. I had 1 in there initially, but we went up to 2 to try it out. By the way, if you guys ever want to catch me trying out a deck, there's capture we could put on top for next turn, which I think I like because we do need a lot of basic Pokemon. It also gives me my energy attachment for turn. If you ever want to catch me testing decks or anything like that, I do stream on Twitch twitch.tv/AzulGG. First link in the description. Give it a click, give it a follow. I stream every day except Tuesdays. So you guys are missing out on a ton of PTCGO content if you're not following over there. That's where I come up with all the decks that I come up with. Or just catch me playing some of the decks you've already seen me playing before. But if you want to see me like tackle different matchups or different scenarios, I'm playing with those decks over there as well. So we got the capture on top, which is nice. It doesn't do the most for us, and there's a Marnie, but the capture is on top, so that's nice that we'll be able to draw into that. It does mean that we could whiff a draw supporter this turn. I guess we could have put a draw support on top, but there's a Marnie, so we can capture out. Probably gonna get the Moltres, and then we'll throw down the Malamar V, play our own Marnie. I don't know if we'll actually be able to pull off an attack this turn, to be honest. We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm not feeling super confident about being able to pull off an attack. We'll see, but our opening start was not like too ridiculously strong. I could keep the E-switch in the deck, and I could actually go for like capture out Moltres, and I could quick ball away the Malamar V, because in this matchup we just kind of need dark Pokemon setup. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Articuno, and let's see if we can't pull off a good old combo and get a knockout. Oh, the capture energy. So there we go, punished by the capture energy. If this was a dark energy, we would be able to attack this turn. So there we go, first time I've been punished by it, but there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and get out the Malamar VMAX. So maybe I should switch over to 10, or was it, I think I have 9 dark in here, so 10 dark, 1 capture. Not going to use the reconstitute, just going to go ahead, or I could use it to get rid of the capture and the air balloon. +1 card. I think we should go ahead and pass, though. We get the whiff here. We do just need a dark energy next turn to start attacking. It depends if my opponent does play like Crushing Hammers or Fan of Waves or something like that, which have been pretty popular in Dragapult decks recently. Not just Dragapult, like straightforward Dragapult, but also Dragapult Inteleon has been running stuff like Crushing Hammer and Fan of Waves. So definitely something my opponent could be packing that could give us some trouble. And then if they combo that with Path to the Peak, like I've lost a Dragapult with this deck before, where if they get down like some Crushing Hammer heads plus Path to the Peak, it can get pretty close. If they don't get those kind of plays off, though, usually pretty smooth sailing, not really that big of a deal, to be honest. But it really does depend on, if they play stuff like the Crushing Hammer or not. If they don't, we're usually in a pretty good spot. If they do, things seem to get a little bit more difficult for sure. There's a Marnie for my opponent, so we like to see that because we don't have a dark energy in the hand. So this will kind of like push us forwards through our deck a little bit more, hopefully allow us to see one of those dark energies. We'll have to see. Here comes another Shady Dealings. If there was a time to get a Crushing Hammer, this would feel like a pretty good time. This could also just be getting a switch card, though, to move this active Dragapult V as well. And it looks like that is what they're going for here, is a switch to the fresh Dragapult. There it is. Fresh Dragapult into the active. And here comes that Marnie. Let's see what we get. We really just need a dark energy here. We haven't seen any Crushing Hammers yet. Doesn't mean they don't play them. Or Fan of Waves. There's plenty of dark energy. Not much else to work with, though. So Path to the Peak could be a little bit annoying. There's the Path to the Peak. But if they don't have Crushing Hammer or Fan of Waves to go with it, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot here. Yeah, the Path to the Peak's still annoying, but we got the dark energy. That's all that really matters. It's actually interesting that my opponent chose Marnie there, to be honest, because they saw I didn't attach last turn. Or not didn't attach, didn't use Reconstitute plus the Dire Flame Wing. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Evolution Incense, thin out this VMAX, attach, and then, yeah, Max Jammer. Get a swing in here. Let's see how disruptive this Max Jammer can be. They got a 4-card hand only. They got Raihan. It's got to be the Raihan, I think. But they can find the what's it called? Well, they have, maybe it's Prize. I think we get rid of the Raihan here, though, for sure. They could still go Evolution Incense for the trainer, the Shady Dealings Inteleon, and they can use that to find stuff. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Get ourselves some prize cards. We can quick ball for that Orangaroo, so we actually have something we can do while Path to the Peak is kind of keeping us locked here. Yeah, like I said, we can't use Moltres, can't use Articuno while Path to the Peak is online, which is really annoying. It really, really is quite annoying. But yeah, there's the Shady Dealings Inteleon, so I'm sure they're going to go find that Raihan again and then, reset up and take this thing out, or look to. They could also go the route of just setting up 2 Dragapult Vs and then actually just go quick shooting my active and try and set me up to the point where I just can't, what I want to say, I just won't be able to, win next turn because they won't have a VMAX in play, and then they can knock it down the following turn, and then if I don't have another attacker set up by then, they could actually be in a winning spot from there. So that would be the play I think my opponent should go for. Let's see if they go down that route. But if I'm looking at it from right here, that seems like the play to go with, because we know they have the quick shooting in hand, so they could go with something like Raihan, And they need another Dragapult V. Maybe they still start to play off the top deck at that point, but maybe that's just going to be fine. Set up an energy on each Dragapult. Because they put 2 energy on like the bench Dragapult, then I can all of a sudden, or just only energy on the bench Dragapult, then I can go boss KO that. They actually grab another Path to the Peak. That's a little bit curious. Was there really not anything better than a Path to the Peak there? But yeah, they're setting up the active one. So we'll see how much energy they put here. If they put only energy here, that's fine with us, because then we just attack, knock this out. Maybe they're going to attach again and then retreat, but then that becomes a little bit of a weak play to a boss, because then we can just boss knock it out. So, like I said, if I was them, try and set up 2 Dragapults, 1 with an energy each, get that quick shooting online, go bite plus quick shooting, and that puts me, or even just bite here and then maybe quick shooting over here, actually, because the bite would put the max phantom damage in range. But they're evolving to the VMAX here, and I don't think they can do enough here. They're going to be 10 damage short. Maybe they just miscounted, or actually, they could have Zigzagoon. I forgot about Zigzagoon. They could have Zigzagoon here. No Zigzagoon. So that's game. Just feeding us the VMAX here. Definitely had a couple different routes they could have taken, but we will take it. Our hand was dead. Who knows what our top deck is? I guess we'll have to see that maybe before the game does end here. And we maybe would have had a little bit more life. No, just another dark energy. So we could have quick ball for Guru and had a Primate Wisdom to work with, but besides that, it was looking pretty dire, to be honest. And our opponent had a interesting opportunity to maybe do a little bit more there. But hey, we'll take the dub. And yeah, first one in the bag. Alrighty, we are getting into another. It looks like we might be going second in this one, as our opponent did win the coin flip. I guess it doesn't mean they have to choose to go first, but I have a feeling, yeah, they're probably going to choose to go first. All right. Now we open up the Malamar. Have the Crobat. Probably won't use it. Got a shopping center and an air balloon, so we have some mobility options there. We're up against an Inteleon VMAX deck. All right, this will be interesting. Haven't played against one of these in quite a while for sure. I might be a little bit more aggressive with this Crobat now, because we really don't want to attach to our active because of the fear of the Inteleon's first attack that will put an energy from our Pokemon back into our hand. They get a Snom here. I was gonna say, and they might even play Crushing Hammer, but because of the Snom, I feel like they probably don't. But we still should be kind of afraid of that first attack. I kind of want to go like this, and then Crobat for 3. And I'm going to retreat to the Crobat and put an air balloon on the Crobat. And I could research here at this point. They only have a 3-card hand. They didn't do a whole ton, so I'm leaning towards this research. I'll go ahead and play this to get a little bit better look at my deck real fast. We price the VMAX. Moltres are there. Excuse me. And then, yeah, now we'll go ahead and use this research as well. So that gave us like another option to work with. No dark energy. We once again see this capture energy. Uh-oh, this is happening too often. I feel like maybe one of these captures has got to go, because we keep drawing into them like this. Let's see here for a second. Like I said, I don't want to leave this thing in the active. I do want to bench the Moltres. We're close to being able to pull off the combo. I could reconstitute those 2, but I don't think it makes a whole ton of sense to do right now. I'm gonna go ahead and retreat to the Crobat. I'm gonna use a shopping center, and I'll take back this one, leave the one on the active. This makes me want to reconstitute a little bit more. I don't need the instance or the quick ball, but of course if they Marnie me, having them in there wouldn't be terrible, but I think I don't hate it, because now I can like get rid of this air balloon even, to be honest. Got a dark energy for next turn to then reconstitute. So we're pretty much set up then at this point to attack on the next turn, as long as we don't get Marnied. And of course we could get Marnied. So I'm sure my opponent wants to look to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm sure they wouldn't mind getting off a turn 2 attack with the VMAX here. So I'm sure they want to be a little bit more aggressive and potentially use a research this turn themselves. So we'll see what they get and what they're able to pull off. I could have like not got rid of the quick ball there, I guess, but then if they like Tool Scrapper this, I want this, or even if they play Tool Jammer, which I wouldn't be too surprised if they play Tool Jammer as well. They could definitely be running Tool Jammer in there, so we'll see about that as well. Definitely could be playing Tool Jammer. Level ball here. Here comes that Moth. Yeah, how big of an attack are they going to get off this turn is definitely going to be the main question, right? How big of an attack is it going to be this turn from my opponent? I got the Moth, but to get off an Inteleon VMAX attack, they would actually have to get this Inteleon to the bench, get another pivot card, couple energy, the VMAX, and then get it back to the active. So that seems like it's going to be quite a tall order, to be honest. So I don't really expect that to go down. And it'll probably be chilling in the active at the end of the next turn, but we'll see. Here comes Snipe Shot, it looks like, and then we'll be able to get the first hit here, maybe even. Training Court to recover energy, and then the Frost Moth going to do its work with that Ice Dance. But yeah, nothing too huge. Feeling pretty good We're gonna get the first big attack off, which is always a good thing. Always a good thing for us, not as good a thing for my opponent. And they only have a 3-card hand, so let's see if we can take advantage of that right here as well. Another phone. I'm gonna capture first. I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself another Malamar to work with. Play one of the phones. Hope for a draw supporter. Found that research. Yeah. Reconstitute, get rid of those two. Dark energy goes to the discard pile. And this is the combo I was talking about. We use the phone. We discard the dark energy. We have the E-switch. We move it over to the Malamar. We make it a Malamar VMAX. Super cool combo. The Articuno V, the Moltres V, the whole thing, all the shenanigans going on. Super cool. I love this engine that is kind of developed in this deck. The more I've played with the deck, and it's just ended up being great. I actually probably should have Primate Wisdom and then Quick Ball to shuffle away my top deck, to be honest. A little bit of a mistake. And let's see how much damage we can do. I'm actually even going to recover one of my tool cards here, just so they don't both get tool scrappered. And yeah, let's see how much damage we can do with this Max Jammer. My opponent has a Scoop Up Net and a Drizzile, so the question is just what do I want to reduce? I don't think they want them to get to Inteleons as soon as they possibly want to, so I'm going to get rid of the Drizzile. So they have to Scoop Up Net this Drizzile and then put it here, which means this one cannot become an Inteleon this turn. So we kind of like push their Inteleons back a little bit. It does mean they would lose access to a Sobble. Like if I got rid of the Drizzile instead, they wouldn't have a, or the Scoop Up Net, they would, you know, evolve here and they would lose access to the the Sobble, I guess, but I think it's more likely that I don't want them to get access to Inteleons. Of course, we'll see how this actually ends up playing out. I'm very curious to see how it goes from here, to be honest. But in my head, I'm like, I don't really want them to have access to that or have access to it like that. So it feels better to remove that from play here. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Here comes the research. They should definitely be attacking with Inteleon VMAX here, I think, this turn. Yeah, it's set up. It's going to start sniping. What are they going to go after is the question. And yeah, we're really going to be looking for a ton of weight from this next Max Jammer to really do some work and hopefully shutting our opponent down. We don't have a Marnie, which is something we'd love to have in the current hand. We do love to go Marnie plus Max Jammer. That is like the main combo in the Malamar deck is Marnie plus Max Jammer, because you reduce your opponent's hand to a 4-card hand and then you go ahead and take something away. They only have a 5-card hand here, so it's not that much better, but they've had a chance to like look at the hand and work with the hand, so that definitely changes things quite a bit. I'm going to start with a Primate Wisdom. Just another Dark Energy. Oh, wait, we do have... I should have actually started with Reconstitute. So that was a mistake. I forgot I had this available to me, so definitely doing that right now to draw. Yeah, I messed that up. The sequencing could have been done a little bit better, slightly bit better. I'm going to leave this Air Balloon in play just to keep something in play with a pivot. And then, yeah, Max Jammer. Let's see what we're looking at here. What can we take away from our opponent? Level Ball, Evolution Incense, Boss, Quick Ball. I mean, Level Ball, they got the Shady Dealings Inteleon. They have so much so many Inteleon outs in the hand. We can't really reduce their options too much here, I don't feel like. Maybe getting rid of this Inteleon. Sheesh, but is that even... Maybe get rid of the Level Ball. Well, then they can Evolution... They can do whatever they want. What takes away the most from my opponent here? Maybe the Evolution Incense. No, maybe the Level Ball. Maybe the Level Ball takes away the most. Because now they can't just Level Ball for Drizzile. And they'd have to use the Evolution Incense, which means they lose more outs to the Inteleon. So then the Level Ball kind of becomes a dead card. Because if they have all their Sobbles as Drizziles, or no bench space to put a Sobble down, then Level Ball doesn't really do anything. So this Evolution Incense, if it grabs a Drizzile, you know, that's fine. They could kind of do that anyways. But now it can't grab a... now they can't use the Evolution Instance to grab an actual like Inteleon. So yeah, they're gonna be able to get out Drizzile no matter what. They're gonna be able to get out the Shady Dealings Inteleon no matter what. I could have got rid of the Shady Dealings Inteleon, I guess, so they would have to play the Level Ball and the Evolution Incense to then find it, I guess. But now the Level Ball is just kind of a dead card in their deck potentially. So I think leaning on that or going with that route makes a little bit more sense. But definitely still in a rough spot. We'll see if we can make a comeback here, but we're definitely in comeback territory at this point, I think. We're definitely not ahead. Our opponent definitely has control of the board state. Yeah, really, this sniping is actually being really annoying, the Max Bullet. We'll see if they actually use Max Bullet again here. They might not, but they would be able to get 4 prize cards, and then Suicune for them only has to take like a knockout on my Crobat for them to close out the game at this point, to be honest. So they'd be in a pretty good spot with, even though they would kind of give me the Inteleon to knock out on my turn, going with a Max Bullet here would still be pretty powerful, I'd have to think, for sure. But we'll see what they do. They're actually even setting up their Or Aqua Bullet Inteleon. But yeah, there's the max bullet. Removes my Ranker, which also takes away potentially some of my draw power for the turn. We still have that Reconstitute and a top deck to work with, but no idea how good those are going to be until we see what we get. So having Primate Wisdom around, if I had to choose, I would definitely love to have Primate Wisdom around as well to work with here. They're doing, what, 120, 180? They're doing so much damage. What do I even plan on attacking with this turn? I want to use Max Jammer. We don't have it yet, but I almost feel like I have to retreat, get the tool back, and then get rid of double tools, because I might want to boss this turn as well. I feel like we're maybe always attacking the active here. All right, let's go with... Get rid of these two. See what we get. Is the Evolution Incense. Okay, so we can Max Jam this turn. We're jamming, but we do not have much else to work with at all. We're jamming, but that's about it. You switch over. This better be a good jam and some good prize cards to work with as well, because otherwise we're going to be in big trouble. We're jamming here. Ooh, so we can take away the boss, and they have no out to boss, so that's good. Take away the boss, no out to boss. They do have a research in the hand still, but this is what I was talking about, like in the intro. We can like take away. They have the draw support and the boss, and we know we don't want them to have boss. Boom, take away the boss. Good to go from there, or hopefully good to go from there. Get our 3 prize cards, but Suicune is hitting pretty hard here. Got doing what, 160. If they bench a Pokemon, 180. So definitely hitting pretty hard for the Suicune, and I'm sure they're gonna grab themselves another Sobble. Now they'll have access to a Drizzile through that, and be in a pretty good spot. So our next attack, oh, they also have Fleet-Footed to work with. That could get them the boss, actually, and that gets them the boss. All right, it's goodbye Crobat, 180 from the Blizzard Rondo. Pretty good Fleet Feet there from my opponent, and we'll take an L here in this one up against the Inteleon. But let's get into another one. All right, getting to go first in this one. See if we can make a little bit more out of going first this time than last time. Opening hand is not spectacular, basically because we just don't have an energy or a V, because we could get either energy or V off this Rotom Foam plus the Reconstitute. So hopefully we top deck an energy or a V here, because that's what we really want to get off as a turn 1 energy. So there's the energy. So can we get a V or a Quick Ball here? There's a Quick Ball, but we do have to get rid of a lot of cards to make this work. Probably give these and then Quick Ball away the phone, keep the Evolution Instance around so we can make sure we can evolve. I don't hate it. It is pretty aggressive, but we also have Draw Support as a follow-up, and we have the Evolution Incense to be able to evolve next turn, so it's not that bad. We'll still have the Articuno in play to work with as well. We are up against an Inteleon deck, believe it or not. Yeah, so we'll see what kind of Inteleon deck. There's a Water Energy, so probably Ice Rider or the Suicune. I guess if I had to guess, I'd guess Suicune. Suicune can be pretty tough because it is super... Ooh, they only got to keep calling for 1. Now I kind of want to go get a Moltres instead. We do need Moltres if we want to attack this turn. I also could have gone for a Crobat there, to be honest, because they didn't really do a whole ton with their turn, so I'm marning them. But they probably have... Yeah, maybe I should have been a little bit more... Yeah. Could have played that a little bit differently for sure. All right, let's go ahead and capture out a Guru. Oops. And then Rotom Phone for a Evolution Incense, I guess. Looks like we're probably going to whiff that turn attack, or this turn 2 attack, but that's fine. We can go for that turn 3 attack and be in a fine spot. Still setting up really well overall. I got a ton of energy in play to work with now, and we won't even need the E-Switch combo because of how we're set up now at this point. We're going to hold on to that shopping center because we don't know what our opponent's playing for sure. They could be playing Path to the Peak, and Path to the Peak is really annoying. I would maybe even Primate Wisdom this shopping center on top of the deck next turn, just in case. But yeah, we'll hopefully get some more info on what our opponent's playing on their turn coming up here. They did only keep calling for 1 Sobble, so that means we know they have 2 Sobble prized. So we have that information to work with here. Or I would assume they have 2 Sobble prized, because there's no reason for them to have not gotten more than 1 Sobble. Or to have like held Sobble in the hand there. With so much bench space available, this really makes no sense to not have gotten more Sobble and so on. So we'll see what they're playing though here. They got a Quick Ball, and because there's no more Sobble to get, theoretically, we're assuming they're going to go ahead and grab some kind of attacker here. And what is it going to be? Ice Rider. Like I said, Suicune is also an option, or a pretty good guess, I guess I should say. So yeah, Suicune, Ice Rider. I mean, that's basically it, right? One of those two. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Maybe like a Vaporeon, I guess. But they're going for a Crobat here, so they really don't like their hand, and they want to see some more. It is Suicune, though, confirmed. Yeah, Quick Ball for the Crobat. comes that bucket. So they're looking for the Melanie then at this point. Crobat in play for us is pretty good because actually we can take advantage of the Crobat being around because it is worth 2 prize cards and it only has that 180 HP. So that's really good for us to see that in play, to be honest. So we're happy to see the Crobat. I'm sure my opponent is not overly enthusiastic about having to put a Crobat in play. So it is Suicune Ice Rider. Okay. And yeah, they got that Crobat in play for us to take advantage of. Question is, do they get a Melanie? Or even just an out to a Drizzile works as well. They could even try and get lucky here and retreat and fleet-footed into an out to a Drizzile or the Melanie itself. So they could also just try and hope that works out. And yeah, there's another Ice Rider. This basically confirms, once again, no Sobble. No more Sobble in the deck. And it is a Marnie. Okay. So really good for us. Because that means they're going to whiff this turn to attack. And, you know, give us an opportunity. Ooh, not a great draw, though, from us. A Boss and a Malamar VMAX. I don't like that. I would maybe even consider bossing this turn and punching the Suicune. But I could also just take out the Sobble as well and go with that. It really depends on what my opponent does this turn and what I top deck. But taking out Sobble is probably going to be pretty good here. But I do kind of want to save the Malamar VMAX. Yeah, going down a second boss here does not feel good. Drawing to a shopping center doesn't feel great as well. I don't actually want the VMAX on top of the deck, though. But yeah, I only have the second VMAX in the deck, so that's why I want to save it. Don't need another Moltres, I don't think. So not going to bench that, and then going to go ahead and just research and hope to get an air balloon here. No air balloon yet. But we could go with... We still have this Rotom Phone to look at first. Yeah, Rotom Phone. There's that air balloon, and that's why this combo is just so good. I'm going to go ahead and reconstitute as well, get rid of the Dark, and then Tool Scrapper. They usually don't play tool cards, so not too concerned with having to get rid of those from my opponent. Dire Flame Wings, and yeah, we are cooking. I'm going to go ahead and recover this air balloon as well for later, potentially Max Jammer. And in this situation, we don't really need to get rid of Drizziles or level balls from my opponent's hand. We could just get rid of the Marnie or the Energy even. But we know their hand would be kind of dead if we just get rid of the Marnie. Can't level ball for Drizzile. They have the Energy. They'll probably be able to find an Energy off the Marnie, is what I'm thinking. But if we get rid of the Energy, it means they might whiff, to be honest. They could whiff the attack. If I leave the Energy, they get to attack for sure. They'd be doing 100. They can't even level ball for that. So they could bench this, so they could be doing 120, 160. They'd be 2 KOing me. So I almost want to get rid of the Energy and just kind of hope they whiff. Let's go with that. They could whiff here. It is unlikely. I do think it's unlikely that they whiff. But if they were to whiff, that would put us in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to play towards that here. And yeah, kind of hope that they do whiff. And at the very least, they'll Marty themselves down to, you know, lower hand size, which you can probably make it a little bit better for the Max Jammer. Yeah, they're going to fleet foot it first, because if they do hit a Melanie here, then they would rather just play the Melanie, guarantee the Energy. They hit the Energy, which is also pretty good, I guess. The Energy also works out pretty good for my opponent. There's the path to the peak. Still have two shopping centers left, so we can still bump that. And actually, oh, they quick wall away the V there. I don't know if they realized that they didn't have anything else to grab there. I mean, I noticed. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they just don't want it in the deck, but then they don't have another bench Pokemon, so they're going to be hitting a little bit less hard this turn. They're only hitting for 160. That's still 2 hit KOs, so I guess it's fine, but yeah, I guess it doesn't really make any sense. These two have 2 other Ice Rider Vs. They really want to keep the bench space open for Sobble anyway, so if they're still just getting the 2 hit KO, they're probably going to be chilling. Yeah, we're going to go with the Max Jammer next turn. Once again, see if they got this 5-card hand. Can we disrupt it? They will be the Chaos on the following turn no matter what. How many energy do I have left? 2 dark. I'm thinking about conserving this dark energy here. We'll get another Malamar V. I don't really want to. Yeah, I'm going to conserve this dark energy here because I don't want to run out of attachments turn to turn. So we're going to hit them. They're going to hit us to get the energy back. I don't want to give them the energy back. So we'll go with the Rugged Helmet on this other Malamar V, I think. And then research. Could Max Jammer here, or I could retreat. Let's see, they're doing 120. I could retreat to 100 and what are they doing? I see what I said. 180. Hit myself for 30. If they just have to bench a Pokemon, knock me out. They might not have a Pokemon to bench. Very possible that the Moltres just wouldn't get KO'd. And then I could run back to the active. But a quick shooting later on would also clean me up. So maybe I just want to Max Jammer and be disruptive. No, I kind of like this a little bit more, to be honest. Yeah, I kind of like this a little bit more. Let's see how it goes. I don't disrupt him this turn, but I don't know, because we have to 2 KO them anyways. So they're doing what? What did I say? 180. Yeah, they're doing 180. So they don't KO us. They would have to get a quick shooting online, which they can do. It's not that hard for them to get a quick shooting online. But then I almost wish I had put the rugged helmet. No, I still don't want the rugged helmet here. Still would want the rugged helmet where it is, I think. I guess this means it is going to be a little bit harder for us to set up that next Malamar VMAX. This does make it harder to set up the next Malamar VMAX. I just didn't think about too hard, and now maybe I should have, to be honest. Yeah, getting that next Malamar VMAX online will be a little bit more difficult. And actually, they've set up the Ice Rider VMAX here, so they could get this knockout on my active with that. Now, they would have to hard retreat, though, which I'd definitely be fine with. There goes another Drizzle. So yeah, they just have no Pokemon to grab here. They didn't even grab anything there to thin out of the deck. So they really have, like, no Pokemon to grab here. Yeah, they could go with the Ice Rider here and knock us out, but they would have to get rid of both energy from the Max Lance. That would leave them with no energy in play on that. So they could hit us with the Suicune, but like I said, if they hit us with the Suicune, they don't actually KO us. Yeah, they just hit us. And I could even KO that Drizzile and take away the option of quick shooting at this point, to be honest. I'm going to attach here. I almost attached there. That would have been bad. Yeah, I could boss and take away the option of quick shooting. I don't hate that. This is my last boss, though, so it feels not good. It feels not good. They only have 4-card hand. Max Jammer can probably do a decent amount of work. We could even boss it with this and try and trap it with the Max Jammer, which I kind of like that. But then once again, this is my last boss. Don't like losing my last boss. There's a Marnie. So now I think I'm just going to go with the Marnie here at this point. Yeah, Marnie knockout. Try and set up this next VMAX, and hopefully that can carry us to the end of this game. Got the VMAX. Got the E-Switch, which is also very important. That to there. VMAX. Would have loved to attack with this VMAX this turn, to be honest, but gonna go back to this one. Max Jammer hit. Can we take away some options here? There's the quick shooting. Take away that. Nothing else really matters. So remove the quick shooting from my opponent, because not only does it allow them to get the knockout. I mean, they get the knockout. They get the prize cards. The thing is, they get to see more cards, more so than anything. Because them going out of their way to KO like this doesn't matter too much unless they can set up a boss play to KO the Guru or the Articuno later on, which they might be able to do. But if they can't do that, them just seeing more cards could be an out. They could almost save it. They could almost have the quick shooting set up and kind of save it and only KO this Moltres actually when they, like when I go for a Max Jammer play and kind of like set up a dead hand on them, then they could be like, okay, well now I'm going to go KO this Moltres to get more cards to work with. So keeping that quick shooting out of play really helps play around that play. Because if I Marnie this next turn, Max Jammer, and reduce their hand to kind of make it awkward or dead, whatever it might be. And then they're able to just go quick shooting KO Moltres, get 2 new cards to work with that I can't, account for with the Max Jammer, can put them in a way better spot. So just taking that away, don't let them set that up. Definitely the way we want to go here. The question is just like, what are they going to do on this turn to set themselves up best? They're going to get this knockout for sure. And I think they have to get rid of... But Orion the High King does what? 130. So they will have to go with 130 to us or knock us out by discarding 2 energy with the Max Land. So I have to pick here. I think they have to kind of go for the knockout. No, just Ride of the High King. So setting us up in a quick shooting range. Now I don't even want to Marnie my opponent. I could retreat. I do have a boss left. So I should go dig for that boss, I feel like. Kind of just say screw it to everything else. Yeah. Because we want to be able to chase this on the next turn and take the dub. Got that. Throw out a shopping center. Get rid of 2 E switches, I feel like. I can use Direflame Wings now. And now 2 E switches with the... Oh, I didn't mean to do this. Oops. Sheesh. All right, give me that then, I guess. Yeah, this one is what I want to click. 2 E switches. Yeah, that's fine. Then out the deck. So if they Marnie us, higher chance to still get into that boss. Now we can Primate Wisdom the boss. We're actually pretty much guaranteed the boss anyways, I guess, right? Got the boss guaranteed now. Gonna retreat and hit him with another Max Jammer. 180, set up the 2-hit KO. Take a card out of the hand. They don't have anything good. Getting rid of the Escape Rope. I guess that gives them the most options. So let's get rid of that. Level Ball. Can't find Drizzle, can't find Sobble, and then Path to the Peak. They can replace my shopping center, but I have another shopping center. We basically just have the game guaranteed no matter what, though, because we know we have boss on top of the deck. Looks like they got the quick shooting off the top deck, though. Okay. Then quick shooting, they can KO the Malamar, which I'm sure they'll want the 3 prize cards instead of 2. Now that's what I was saying. Like, now they have this quick shooting set up, which you're trying to stop. They can just get more cards to see. Right now they get these 3 cards. I don't think it's going to be enough to stop me, though. I'm pretty sure I have this one locked up. And we do know they have 2 Sobble prizes, which are basically dead cards to draw into. Nothing they can actively use aggressively. So we know a couple of their prizes are dead. I'm sure a couple more are as well. So not too worried about it. Yeah, even if they Marnie us, they'll Marnie us into boss. If they don't Marnie us, we top deck boss. So even if this thing makes its way to the bench, still going to be in a pretty good spot. There's a Drizzile grab. Here comes another level ball, which I'm sure we'll just grab another Drizzile. So no Drizzile prize, but they did prize, multiple Sobble. That always kind of stinks. I'm not gonna lie. As a when you're the person playing the Inteleon deck, prizing 1 Sobble is fine. Prizing 2 Sobble really does start to stink. Even prizing 1 Sobble if your opponent KOs an early Sobble also stinks. All right, there's the Air Balloon Retreat. So they get to the new Calyrex here, and they're gonna be lining up a 2 KO on this, plus a quick shooting on this, or just run to Crobat. Works as well to just kind of stall behind a Crobat. That also works, but then they don't get a hit on this VMAX, so they have to go like quick shooting plus attach boss. Using my shopping center to get back there. Air balloon there, but yeah, we know boss on top of my deck, so they don't even end up Marnieing us to try and take it away, but we set it up on top anyways. And Max Jammer for our last 3 prize cards, and we get a dub here over the Suicune Ice Rider. In the end, doesn't matter what we get rid of, got our last 3 prize cards, and that's gonna do it for these games with the Malamar deck. I think the engine behind it is super cool. I enjoy playing Malamar VMAX. It's always a fun deck to mess around with and try and come up with the optimal card to remove from their hand with the Max Jammer every single turn. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a like if you're new here and enjoying the content. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow.